Okay, so we are going to be doing the chapter 6 1A guided notes together. So make sure that you have out those notes. You can get them in the file bin if you need to. So the learning target for this video is I can solve one-step inequalities and graph them on a number line. So inequalities work just like equations. They work just like equations, except there are no equal signs. Instead of equal signs, we have inequality signs. We have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. And then the line under the inequality means or equal to. So like I said, solving one-step inequalities is just like solving equations, except there's a special rule. So if you multiply or divide by a negative number, your inequality sign flips. So for example, if I have negative 4x is greater than 32, and I know that I have to divide by negative 4, my new inequality will be x is less than negative 8. And if my inequality is x over negative 5 is greater than or equal to 25, I know that I have to multiply by negative 5. So I get x is less than or equal to negative 125. Now you have to be careful because if you have one that's like 4x is less than negative 32, we don't have to flip the sign because we didn't multiply or divide by a negative number. So there's a difference between this guy and this guy. The number attached to the x wasn't negative, so we don't have to flip the sign. The one down here in blue. All right, so we're going to practice. We're going to solve some inequalities. So I have x plus 6 is greater than 8. So same way as solving normal equations. I'm going to draw my line. How do I undo addition? That's subtraction. Subtract on both sides. X is greater than 2. That's your answer. The next one, draw my line. Negative 3 times x is greater than or equal to 24. How do I undo multiplication? I divide. Uh-oh, I'm dividing by a negative, so the sign is going to flip. So right here, I divided by a negative number, so my sign flips. Here, what is the opposite of subtraction? That would be addition. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. Get x is less than 22. Now this one, I have division. The opposite of division is multiplication. Nothing's negative, so I'm just going to keep it my normal sign way. So I multiply both sides by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So that was easy enough. So now we're going to add in graphing on a number line. So first we need to make sure that x is by itself and on the left. If it's not on the left, so if it's on the right, so if I have 8 is greater than x, the whole inequality flips. So we just have x is less than 8. Those are equal. Whichever way the arrow is pointing towards the x, that's the way it goes. Now, on the number line, we're going to have circles. So if it's just less than or greater than, we're going to have an open circle. And if it's less than or equal to and greater than or equal to, we are going to have closed circles. So if there's a line under the inequality, we need to close our circle. So the way the arrow points is the way the line goes. So let's do a couple of examples. So we have to solve it first. So what's the opposite of addition? That would be subtraction. So I get x is greater than 4. Now, let's look at what kind of symbol we have. I just have a greater than sign, so I'm going to use an open circle. I'm going to make my open circle over positive 4. I'm going to go with the way my arrow is pointing. So my inequality is pointing to the right. So I'm going to draw my arrow to the right. Now in example F, I need to solve it. How do I undo multiplication? I divide. So I'm going to divide by 4. I do not need to flip the sign for this one because I divided by a positive. So I have x is less than or equal to -3. So if I have less than or equal to, that's going to be a closed circle because of the line under. I put a closed circle at -3. My arrow is going to the left. Okay, and our last example for the day is negative x over 3 is less than or equal to 1. So how do I undo division? I'm going to multiply by -3. So I have x, sign flipped because I multiplied by a negative, is greater than or equal to -3. So I'm going to put a closed circle over -3, and the arrow is pointing to the right. So you have a practice on Delta Math and a Quizlet I want you to look at before you take your assessment on quizzes. Follow the Schoology charts and you'll be on your way to level 1B, which is solving two-step inequalities. Good job.